Kia ora and welcome to Pitopito Kōrero, a show brought to you by the students of the New Zealand Broadcasting School. On today's episode, fears classroom roles will fall following school holidays. An eye-opening exhibition displays the stories of abuse survivors. And schools of whitebaiters are wading Christchurch's waterways this spring. I take along with a seasoned pro. Now the school holidays are over, some Christchurch educators fear that students won't return. Mackenzie Jennings investigates why.
Setting up for her early morning appointments, with a long day of hard work ahead.
I have to shake my glue though for like 60 seconds.
17-year-old Jade Fonutia left Avonside Girls High School at the start of year 11. She says school wasn't the right environment for her.
There was nothing I was really motivated to go to school and learn every day.
She claims at school she felt targeted.
And I was really bad at maths. The teachers always used to pick on me, which wasn't the best feeling because they knew I didn't know the answer.
In March last year, she made the decision to leave and enter the workforce.
There was no motivation. I wasn't learning anything from it. And then my parents finally decided, okay, leave, get a job, and doing that was the best decision.
Christchurch educators say that for some students there are always different pathways.
The whole point of being at school is to leave, but leaving to the right thing at the right time.
Linwood College offers a range of support to students finishing school early. However, some fear there may be an unexpected increase in the future.
It's been a pig of a year, and so there are kids who have lost their motivation, and there are kids who are feeling they have to leave to support family finances.
There's large concern around the impact of parents' financial situations on their children's careers. The Ministry of Education says that Māori school leaders had the largest decrease in retention since 2020. They say they continue to focus on improving attainment at school, particularly among Māori and Pacifica learners. Edmondson says he encourages students to finish NCA Level 2. But it's not a necessity for all. A push for more support for students taking all different pathways. Mackenzie Jennings, Pitopito Kōrero, Metro News.
Getting a ticket may be a little bit easier following a wave of speed limit reductions on our roads. Over 500 kilometres of Christchurch streets will see this change, and as Cameron Joe finds out, it's all about safety.
Christchurch roads are gearing up to become a little slower. With a drive for safety, Council will be implementing reduced speed limits in 10 suburbs over the next 2 years, bringing 50k zones down to 30 near schools and 40 for neighbourhood streets.
The problem is that we know that if you're hit by a vehicle going 50, there's a roughly a 90% chance you're going to die. If you can get the speed down to 30, you're going to get about a 10% chance of dying. We know that slower traffic, decreased chance of people being injured and decreased chance of people dying in crashes.
While the neighbourhoods to undergo these changes are still under discussion, feedback for these areas are now open, with Papanui and Opawa speed limit reductions to be completed by the end of the year. This is all a part of Waka Kotahi's Road to Zero campaign, aiming to reduce the deaths and serious injuries on our roads by encouraging councils to reduce the speed limits. However, some think we are going in the wrong direction.
I'm not seeing any evidence that those speed limit reductions are benefiting our pedestrian safety. The Road to Zero, on the other hand, is a bit of a different tool that I think is being used by Waka Kotahi to get people out of cars.
However, in a statement to Metro News, Waka Kotahi claim, rather than working to reduce the use of cars, Road to Zero is about improving safety outcomes for everyone. And in their 2017 crash report, speed-related injuries exceeded other factors by far.
And I think at the moment some of them haven't really been able to be shown the full benefits. We need to change the narrative, show the benefits, and then once you do it, I think you'll see happier communities, safer people, healthier kids, etc.
With Waka Kotahi's aim to reduce death and injuries by 40%, it looks like Council is heading on the right track. Cameron Joe, Pitopito Kōrero, Metro News.
Up next, what some students are paying $200 a week for. Safia Metawillage looks at the cost of student flatting and whether it's all worth it.
Outside, student life may look like a whole lot of fun and a lot less responsibility. However, for many students, they carry one of the biggest responsibilities in our society: housing themselves.
Welcome in.
Naomi Beachy goes to the University of Canterbury and lives on the border of the two biggest student-populated suburbs in Ōtautahi, Riccarton and Ilam.
Basically everyone at uni lives around either Riccarton or Ilam. Yeah.
I flat in Ilam, just down the road.
I flat on Memorial Ave in Upper Riccarton. Been there about 3 months.
Just in Ilam.
According to the Christchurch City Council, these areas have one of the highest levels of socio-economic deprivation, essentially meaning that the suburb and the houses within it are severely run down.
So this is my room, that costs $154 a week. This is my room, it costs $174 a week. And then Kieran and Xavier's room, they pay $178 a week for. Like, I started the year with a bunch of savings and it has all gone to flatting. And yeah, no, I don't even get enough hours at work to pay my rent.
So why is it so expensive right now?
We need to find another flatmate to fill the spare room, but no one wants to live here. Because when we moved in, like, all the mould was there. Like, it wasn't, it's been there for like ages. And like the one in the bathroom is too high up for us to clean it ourselves. Yeah, the other window too, the whole frame just like rotted away basically. So they just taped it up and like stuck a nail through it. And it's just, pretty small and cold.
Property manager Lynn Cawthorne says the appropriate response to this is immediate action from the owner.
They do definitely have to follow the healthy homes, and that would cover the health and safety anyway off the property. So they look for, they have to do insulation, they have to do draft stopping. They'll check the property for moisture, they check the guttering of the homes, they check the heating, that there's sufficient heating.
She says the owner has 21 days to resolve any and all issues for tenants. However, this timeframe hasn't proven realistic for our students.
I do just think in general this house is probably like wouldn't pass the healthy home standards and stuff.
And when taking the right steps and reaching out to their landlord for help, the response was unhelpful, to say the least.
No, we asked them about it and said, but they just told us to clean it ourselves. Like, they kind of just said that the mould's your problem,
These problems are widespread, with many broke uni students struggling in these conditions.
Had a bit of mould in my room, which wasn't the best, but got rid of it. So it's pretty cold, but we all just have an hour of power, free power, so we put the heaters on. Maybe just like heat, keeping it warm.
It's got very expensive. It goes up to $170 next year.
Although living in university accommodation is an option for students, it can be an expensive choice and is often unsustainable. However, at Ara Institute of Technology, they've taken a different approach to student living.
You don't have to worry about the change in rates, like paying for water or the Wi-Fi and stuff. It's just a set amount every week.
Free Wi-Fi, and there's like cleaners cleans your flat every morning, Monday to Friday, and that's a good thing.
It's good because it's all included, so you can have your heaters on whenever you want.
A stark contrast from student flatting, where even the warmer weather doesn't bring comfort.
And no, this flat, even on like really hot summer days, it's cold inside.
So how cold is it in winter?
Really cold.
Extremely
really cold. Winter was so
almost
cold.
Unlivable. We had we were sick every week.
Yeah. We were all just sick the entire winter, constantly.
Property manager Lynn Cawthorne shares that her advice for students living in these situations is to take action if your landlord won't.
You can lodge through tenancy services for mediation to have it remedied. So that would be the next step if they didn't get any action from the owner.
Thanks for coming.
Safia Metawillage, Pitopito Kōrero, Metro News.
Viewer discretion is advised for this next story as it covers topics of sexual assault and paedophilia. Daniel Parisi heads to the University of Canterbury and shows us the exhibition, What I Was Wearing.
So first we have a content warning. This is really important for any of our events as they can be very triggering for people, especially who have experienced this personally or know someone who has experienced sexual violence.
Here at the University of Canterbury, many students and lecturers visited the exhibition, What I Was Wearing, done by the organisers, Thursdays in Black UC.
Thursdays in Black UC is a pretty small club. There's about 15, 20 of us in the exec, and we're here to spread awareness of sexual violence on campus and just normalising the conversation.
Over 30 people contributed in stories and clothes for this event, majority being anonymous.
So what I was wearing means basically the whole title, what I was wearing in the moment of the assault happening. A common misconception with sexual violence is that it's the survivor's choice of clothing to blame for what happened to them.
According to New Zealand Crime and Victims Survey, 24% of Kiwi adults have experienced one or more incidents of sexual assault in their lifetime, with 94% not being reported to the police. This is probably due to the fact that 4 in 10 victims say it is just something that happens.
Over here is one of our male submissions, so he experienced sexual assault, but he didn't realise that he was assaulted until many years later when he was telling one of his partners about it, and she said that that was sexual violence. A big part of our club is to bring awareness to the fact that not just women get sexually assaulted. It does happen to men as well, and there's just a complete lack of education for men, so a lot of the times people don't know that it's happened to them.
Plushies were the biggest comforters for those who walked through to read the stories and look at the clothing.
A few people have gotten really upset with this one on the other side here, with the really young person. This person in particular who was really upset, she had a younger sister and a younger cousin about the same age as that account, and it just shows how close it happens, you know, how close it hits to home.
If you or a person you know want to reach out, please visit our website metronews.co.nz for resources to help. Daniel Parisi, Pitopito Kōrero, Metro News.
E whai ake nei, Ototahi's beloved museum is finally on the move after over a century. And if you're looking for something other than a coffee to start your day, you may find some inspiration after the break.
My name is Aaron Soma, from New Zealand originally. Now I'm working at the BBC in London, at BBC World as a producer. So I went to broadcasting school, studied there, and then got my internship at TVNZ. Decided London was calling, so came here, started working at BBC World, and I've been here for about 3 or 4 months now. Absolutely just fell in love with this place. I mean, it's incredible. It's like a dream for any journalist. And to know that what you're producing is going out to tens of millions of people every hour, people watching it around the globe. It's incredible. There's that saying, the city that never sleeps, and this is one of those, of course. It's a huge, huge place. Great different little pockets of the city. It's amazing, it's always buzzing. At the moment I'm working night shifts, so that's overnight. So I start at about 10 p.m. and finish at 7 a.m. You know, when I arrive, America is just going to sleep, but Asia is opening up, and then Europe starts to open up. So it feels like a bit of a dream actually to be working here. The course is great because it's very much in line with what the industry is doing, and that's really important because it gives you this kind of almost this worldly knowledge of what's actually happening. It can lead you to this big wide world. You can do whatever you want to do, put your mind to it, and get out there and see what's around.
You might call it crazy, they call it a great way to get out of the house. Thousands around the world are waking up early to join a community run. Mackenzie Jennings finds out it's having an impact on our own backyard.
Park run.
Puffed and chuffed. These runners substituted their Saturday morning sleep-ins for a daily dose of exercise.
It's very rewarding, and it just sets the tone for like the rest of your day, and you just basically feels very good.
It's good to just get out with some friends and go for a run on a Saturday morning.
Yeah, you get to meet new people, because I just met her today.
It's really casual. It's, you know, if you want to be fast and really be competitive, you can. But also, if you just don't do any exercise and you just want to start doing something, I think it's really good.
Established in 2004, parkrun began popping up all over the world with the intention to get communities active.
It's not just the Christchurch community, it's the world's community. The fitter you are, the longer you'll live.
The run consists of 5 kilometres and you can track your personal best via a barcode system.
Afterwards they match up with the timekeeper, so then everyone gets a placing and you get handed out. They get handed out in the order of that you come in.
The Hagley Park Run has just celebrated its 8th birthday, with 3 other park runs established in the Canterbury region. Although attracting many athletes, there's a role for everyone.
Myself, I can't do it because I've had heart surgery and my wife's running, so I come along here and volunteer.
Parkrun can't go on without the volunteers.
In rain or shine, the runners take on the path.
I don't like the cold temperatures, but I'll happily wake up.
It's not that cold.
A rewarding 5 kilometres shared by all. Mackenzie Jennings, Pitopito Kōrero, Metro News.
It's out with the old and in with the new. Canterbury Museum's getting renewed. The 155-year-old building is getting a multi-million-dollar overhaul. And thanks to some new government funding, they're more excited than ever. Cameron Joe has more.
The rustle of age-old taonga being packed up for a new home. Canterbury Museum is on track to meet funding for its redevelopment due to a $25 million grant from government last week.
It's terrific news. It's really exciting for us. It gets us from the 125 million that we've got in the bank or promised at the moment to 150 million. Our immediate target is 175 million to be able to undertake the construction part of the project.
The public got a glimpse of what's in store for the 5-year revamp through concept designs in late 2020, which were put together with Ngai Toahu Riri.
I think the biggest opportunity is around being able to move away from the relatively colonial look and feel of the existing museum to a reimagined museum with biculturalism at its heart.
The redevelopment will see some fan favourites staying, such as Fred and Myrtle's PowerShell house here and the Christchurch Street. They'll all be stored and packed out as staff and all collections are expected to be out by early next year.
So with the redevelopment, we're working that line between bringing out new things that people haven't seen before in our collection now that we have a bit more space, bringing out things that haven't been seen for a long time.
This Monday, Christchurch Local said goodbye to a number of galleries, such as Discovery, Our Mummy, Geology and Ivan Major Speedway King.
In that time we've been working back of house, moving out some of our collection storage areas. It's not just the galleries in the museum, there's 14 or 15 storage areas as well which need to move 2.3 million items all up. So in that time we've made 84 truck movements loaded to the gills with pallets and artefacts.
Your next visit to this beloved attraction may be your last for a while, as it plans to close its doors in April for a new and improved future. Cameron Joe, Pitopito Kōrero, Metro News.
It's nothing but net in rivers around the country as the whitebait season is nearing a close. But it's been one of controversy, with a restricted fishing period and a hobby that's already extremely political. I catch up with a local enthusiast to see what all the fuss is about in this week's Environmental Update.
Well, I've been whitebaiting here on the Avon for about good 6 years.
I used to come down with my mate when I was about 18. So, Jesus Christ, 43 years ago.
I keep whitebaiting, keep doing it because just the thrill of catching it. Hi, I'm Matthew. I've been whitebaiting here for probably about since I was 15. It sort of like reminds me of like my grandfathers and sort of like that have been doing it in the past, and sort of like a way to connect with them, I suppose. When I was growing up, I actually just lived around the road here, just around a couple of the beams. You know, when I was 10, 11, 12, I have very good memories of like filling up a bucket. There'd be, you know, sometimes even 2. There was just a lot more of it around, and now I find there's less whitebaiters out, and you know, some people aren't catching as much as what each others are. Like, well, I feel like, you know, there's people, other whitebaiters out there that are ruining it for the rest of us. I think there's certain people whitebaiting to sell whitebait when there's, you know, there's people saying that it's getting extinct and there's not going to be as much of it in a few years' time. And then there's other people that come out and just come out for a couple of hours, and every day, you know, a couple of hours a week they might come out and they just want to go home and catch a feed and get a bit for your family, and that's about it. And I think that it's one of those things that will eventually phase out. I think a lot of it is, and you know, it might not get. I think there'll be less opportunities to go out, less places to go out, and I think that's when it just won't be enjoyable anymore. They get real low at this time. They sit right on the bottom of the water. You get it's just nearly impossible, eh?
So my name is Mike Hickford. I am a freshwater ecologist at NIWA, so National Institute of Water and Atmospheric Research. Apparently I was taken out whitebaiting when I was about a month old. I was born in August and I was out on a blanket shortly thereafter on the riverbank, and I have been associated with whitebaiting for my private life pretty much ever since. Here, so we've got lots of the inanga that we've had. There's been I think probably a switch and a shift in terms of people using it as an income stream, and then certainly on the west coast there are people that will arrive and fish, I guess, now for 2 months rather than the usual 3 months to somehow, you know, enhance their income. And the problem is that, again, it's an unknown quantity. And so the logic behind the shortening the season, partially it's to sort of, you know, increase the size of the window for fish to get past. But more fish doesn't necessarily equate to healthier adult populations. So it's quantity versus the quality of the habitat. You know, maybe we've taken the first step in allowing more whitebait to go into the rivers, but we need to take that second, much harder step, which is fixing the habitats in the rivers they're going into.
I reckon it's good.
Yeah.
I reckon it's good.
But yeah, no, there has been, you know, probably a noticeable change, but
it hasn't been too bad, the shortening of the season. It's obviously been a good thing. I'm taking home a couple of pound a day sort of thing, some days if I'm out here for that period of time to be catching that. At the end of the day, I think we're all, 90% of us out here are all ready to comply with rules, regulations, restrictions, you know, whatever's going to go on, because we love doing it and we enjoy doing it.
Thank you so much for watching Pitopito Kōrero today. For more student journalism, make sure to tune in each week, 5 PM Wednesdays. Ka kite.